Hi, my name is Thomas A. Martin, and this is my video assignment for hydrophilic and hydrophobic substances. Now you're probably wondering, what does hydrophilic and hydrophobic mean? Well, hydrophilic, or a hydrophile, is a molecule that is attracted to water and it tends to dissolve when it gets in contact with water. Hydrophobic is on the complete opposite of that spectrum. Hydrophobic is, repels against it, and it just doesn't really like it. It's like hydrophobic, like arachnophobic, doesn't like spiders. It just does not like water. Now, kind of a clear definition of hydrophilic on what happens when it touches water. Hydrophilic substances dissolve in water, which is to say they move from areas of high concentrations to areas of low concentration. And this is caused by the attraction of water molecules to the hydrophilic molecules. Because in the area with high concentration of the molecules, the water moves in and just kind of pulls them apart. Kind of a better definition of hydrophobic, it literally means the fear of water. It's, like I said, it's like arachnophobic, because you don't like spiders. They repel the water, and so hydrophobic liquids such as like oil, they separate from the water. And the molecules are usually nonpolar, which means atoms that make the molecule do not produce a static electric field. Now, since we're on it, an example of hydrophobic would be like plant leaves. Majority of the time, if you go outside or when it rains, you'll see that leaves kind of just the water runs right off. Well, that is because there's this thing they secrete. They have like a layer of it, and that's what makes them roll off. Because if the water absorbs into the leaves, it disrupts its flow of nutrients that it gets, because it's used to getting it through its roots and not through its its leaves. Another example would be bird feathers. Those are the ones that certain aquatic ones like penguins and stuff like that, they secrete an oil, and that's why it's like when you always pick up a feather, it's always like all gross and your fingers feel all slippery. That's because of that oil they secrete, so the water runs right off of their feathers. That way when they're flying, they don't get soggy, they get heavier, and then inevitably they'll just hit the ground and fall. Now, an example of hydrophilic thing would be the cell membranes. So cell membranes are created from two sheets of molecules known as phospholipids. Phospholipids are amphiphilic, meaning they're both attracted to water in one region, and the other region they repel it. The head of the phospholipid molecule is a hydrophilic region. My bad. The tails are hydrophobic and point inward towards each other, so they point towards each other essentially. This includes water from the middle of the two sheets, thus creating a divider between the two essentially. If the membrane is closed in a sphere, the cell is created. Bacterial cells have no further division, but eukaryotes further divide their cells into organelles. These organelles are also surrounded by phospholipids. Because they do have water, does not easily pass through the cell membrane, there are many embedded proteins that allow water into the cell. And then there are also the proteins that transport other hydrophilic substances across the membrane. These proteins, while not enzymes, are also formed by amino acid chains. That is my assignment on whether the definition, not whether or not, my apologies, the definition and examples of hydrophilic and hydrophobic substances. Thank you.